says that a man gifts puts him in the presence of great men. But the same thing that'll put you in that room with great men will also make them great men want to kill you. King David did great things, and it was fine until them women started singing, and then Saul wanted to kill him. All because women decided to sing a song. You know, Saul his thousands, David his 10,000s. Oh, I'm gonna kill David. You can believe that. He gotta die. He gotta die. And they want to tell you how strong a man is in the kingdom. Don't you see the power of these women? You see the power of these women? One song, and all of a sudden, a righteous brother who has done no wrong has now got a bounty on his head. Now he got, javelins being thrown at him. Now he running out, got to go here and there, all because them women sung a song. Verse 5, the fool folds his hands together and eats his own flesh. Better is an handful with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit. Then I returned and I saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone and there is not a second. Yea, he have neither child nor brother. Yet is there no end of all his labor. Neither is his eye satisfied with riches. Neither says he, for whom do I labor and bereave my soul of good? This is also vanity. Yea, it is a sore travail. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falls, for he has not another to help him up. And we don't want no help. We would rather have 100% of nothing than 50% of billions. Why you think them Gentiles merge their companies together? It might be 60 people that get together and merge their company. They, by themselves, had a little old bitty little shack where they might have been making $40,000, $50,000 a year. By merging all them things together, now they own less of the big company. Now it's split up 60 ways instead of them owning that 100%. But now they have a part, and now each one of them is $1 million. They're millionaires. Before, they didn't have but $50,000. But they was king of their little ship. And sometimes we so busy trying to be king of the little ship that we don't take, the consideration in saying, I can split this 60 ways when we join together and be a millionaire. This is how Gentiles, but the reason we can't do that is because of them curses. Them curses be joining and fighting us, and we be fighting each other, and everybody trying to be the chief, and ain't no Indians. It's just a whole bunch of chiefs. And that curse eats us up in that manner. But this is the strength. You got one by himself, but then you got two. If those two lie together, then they got heat. If one prevail against that one, then the other can come help that one. That's when you see the power of that joining together. Why you think during that period of tabernacling, there will be 1,000 years of tabernacling, Israel is going to be like this. Israel is going to be a together unit in power. Man, this ain't no power. Everybody know this. If you do this and you hit a dude, all you're going to do is piss him off. You know that. But you do this and you hit him. Now we got to consider some things. Because if you hit him hard enough, he might not get back up. Ain't no strength with these fingers by themselves. This ain't nothing but a slap. All right, that's just disrespectful. This right here is saying, I'm trying to do something to you. This is what a strength is. And that is when all 5 of those fingers come together. That's what they said when they said black power. That was coming together. That is all those separate entities coming together as one cohesive unit, and then that power going behind that unit. Ain't nobody do this. What is this? You ever seen a dude fight? Who you gonna fight, man? Who you gonna beat up? You doing all this right here. Man, this dude finna laugh at you. You gonna have 8 broke fingers, and then you still gonna lose the fight. But you pull that together and make that power, then you got something. Go ahead, brother.
Not only that merger theory with those 60 people merging together, now you can actually cover more territory as well.
Right. It's more power altogether. And we've watched these Gentiles do it over and over. Then you watch all of a sudden, now the Holy Roman Empire has gotten back together. They call it the European Union. Why do you think all them Gentiles merged their country? All of them were already kings and queens. But why is it that they merged together? Because they're going to have more. We can't put that concept in our head because we're so busy trying to be in charge. They're going to have more by joining together than they had just being king of their little country. When they join together, now they got all kind of stuff. It's like we can't really get that in our head. Man, if this is already the king of Spain, why would he give up his leadership to join onto the European Union? Because there's now finna be so much power behind that union. He's still going to have his little domicile that he has, but now he has so much power within that unit. Now nobody on the earth can fight against this unit. Got your next word. Go ahead.
Yeah, just talking about that curses. It's real deep because it's deeper than just us not wanting to get together. What happens when we do get together and we do be successful? They come tear it apart.
Right.
They tear it up. So even if we try and even say, all right, we're going to try to be like these Gentiles, we're going to get it together, and we get together, Yahweh said right now, man, you're going to have to deal with them curses until you get yourself right.
And that was, go ahead, brother, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But, those those curses do come to deal with us, but we have to deal with, things in the best manner of what we can deal with. Most of the times in all of our organizations, they didn't have the spirit behind them because they wasn't dealing with spiritual things. You look at, Malcolm X, they said, man, that's too much power for one man to have. So they automatically, and how they've gone after all of our organizations. They kill the head and the body will die. All right? Same way, old boy's head was cut off. He wasn't no need to carry the body. He just gonna carry the head. Cut off that head, ain't no more. All fear struck into the rest of the people and they took off running when they saw that head got cut off. And that's how they deal with every last one of our organizations. But those organizations didn't have any righteousness in it. Those organizations thought that they were going to achieve things in America. Those organizations thought that they were going to change America. They're going to make her put on a new dress. See, we're going to take off that mini skirt and put a long skirt on you. We're going to make you an honorable hoe. There's no such thing as an honorable hoe. And all of their organizations that they've tried to set up were all with this whole thing of trying to get America's pie. We don't care anything about America's pie. The thing that we have to deal with is setting up what we have to set up in righteousness, because we know it's not going to happen here. But we have to prepare because it will happen when we get out of here. That's what cutting off them 2/3 is going to be about. Cutting off them rebels. See, them rebels are still amongst us. They still amongst us now. But come in that wilderness, they ain't going to be left in that wilderness. So we, remember what it said, do all these things and start at my sanctuary. Start at my house and then go out. So when you talk about tribulation and anguish, to the Jew first, then the Gentile, but also glory and honor to the Jew first. So where is that unity going to have to be first? To the Jew, then to the Gentile, then go out so they can have righteous unity. So those things are going to have to happen to us first. Once we get out there in that wilderness, we're going to see some unity like we ain't never seen before. It's going to be a scary thing to see that many brothers walking together in unity and they ain't biting each other's head off. They ain't fighting. You ain't get out the way. You get out the way. Get your hand out of my pocket. It's going to be a scary thing to see, bro. To see that many brothers operating like that, it's going to be wonderful and scary at the same time. Because you're going to know, it's definitely time to go to war. These people, everybody out here walking in unison, after all that trouble we're going to see, then all of a sudden when that curse gets, man, I pray that Yahweh allow me to see that. When that curse is removed and ain't no more bickering and fighting and, this and that, and brothers walking on one accord, then we'll have sisters singing, you know, I hope that don't cause no problem. Jadon, his thousands. And Omar, his 10,000. I'ma kill Omar. I'ma kill. Omar got to die. You know, Omar gonna kill 10,000 and I ain't do 1,000. Oh, boy, that's crazy. Because when it goes down, you can't say Lucifer made me do it. I'm sorry. Did I have something else back there, one of y'all? I'm sorry.
Just recapping what you were saying about the UN and all these different kingdoms merging together and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Basically making allegiances to boast up their weaknesses because it frees them up and they see the potential of making more without having to work as hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, and if they don't do it, then they're left behind and they become weak and become crushed.
Mm-hmm. They all about ruling the whole world. Right. Ruling part of the world is not. They have some great expectations, brother. That's one thing I'm going to tell you about the Gentiles. They expect glorious things, and because of that high expectation, they end up getting it. They walk into a store and they expect good service. We just expect service. You know what I'm saying? But they will sit there and argue for 15 to 20 minutes about 99 cents. I've watched them hold up a whole line, and then you follow them outside, and they got a Benz that look like a spaceship. And they was arguing over 99 cents in the store to the point where the poor dude in a Toyota would just hand, here, man, go to $1, man. Come on, let's just keep the line moving, brah. But they expect certain things, and they end up getting it because they do not accept anything less. This is why we end up having to shop in their neighborhoods. They treat you with good service. They treat you with all of these good things. Why? Because everybody in that store walks around with their head up and they expect good service. And they not going to deal with no bad service. You don't find a lot of those stores in their neighborhood where they say, you buy, you go. Those are in our neighborhood. And you know what we do? We go right back in the store. They treat us like crap. We buy it. And we man can't stand Miss Yang. See you next week, Miss Yang. Do that in them Gentile neighborhood. That store will be shut down if they go in there and tell them Gentiles, you buy, you go. Right? They're going to be gone next week because they are going to totally boycott it. They are not going to spend their money in it, and they're going to shut it down. Us, we don't expect anything. We don't expect anything, so we don't get anything. That's why every store on every corner is owned by somebody else other than us. And no matter how bad they treat us, we still gonna go in there and support their business. All right, verse 12. And if one prevail against him, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Better is a poor and wise child than an old foolish king who will no more be admonished. I'm a grown man, you can't tell me nothing. For out of prison he comes to reign. Whereas also he that is born in his kingdom becomes poor. I considered all the living which walks under the sun with the second child that shall stand up in his stead. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after shall not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of spirit. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 12. Ezekiel chapter 12. See, we have to understand also that being a servant, everything that you go through after you become a servant, it ain't about you. But we take everything personal. When you became a servant of Yahweh, he has to be able to use you for his purposes. That's what a servant does. But we then take everything that we go through in this personal manner as, oh, it's about us and blah, 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 blah. No, you're a servant of Yahweh. So there are certain places where he needs you to be. And, you know, the whole plan wasn't given to you. And when somebody's boss says, okay, I need you to build a display right here in the middle of this walkway. What if that boss don't tell you, okay, we got the branch managers coming, you know what I'm saying, the people that's over, and I need to make a good showing for them, or they going to shut this place down. Really, all that ain't none of your business. You don't need to know why that's there. You are getting paid to do a job, and then they said, I need you to build this thing. Well, that's how Yahweh does. You may not understand what's going to happen in step 2, 3, and 4. That ain't none of your business. You couldn't even understand the full plan if he told it to you. The part that you're supposed to do is to build this and set it up. And when everything happens, you'll be like, oh, that's why he wanted me to set that up.
That's above your pay grade.
Right. And that's what we don't understand. You know, Yahweh deals in that manner. And it's really a glorious thing. Because some of that stuff, you really don't need to know ahead of time. You really don't need to know, because what'll happen, if there were certain things you knew ahead of time, you wouldn't have done it. And in that, what if that's the very thing that you were called to do, and that's how you attain your salvation? Because you knew early, you did not attain unto your salvation. So we want to know a whole lot of things, but certain things can cause you problems. Ezekiel chapter 12, verse 1. The word of Yahweh also came unto me, saying, how did the word come to him? He said the word came to him. So he didn't read this, right? And now he's a prophet, right? Okay. Son of man, thou dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see and see not. They have ears to hear and hear not, for they are a rebellious house. Therefore, you son of man, prepare you stuff for removing, and remove by day in their sight. And you shall remove from your place to another place in their sight. It may be they will consider, though they be a rebellious house. He's getting instructions. Then shall you bring forth your stuff by day in their sight as stuff for removing. And you shall go forth at even in their sight as they that go forth into captivity. Dig you through the wall in their sight and carry out thereby. In their sight shall you bear it upon your shoulders and carry it forth in the twilight. You shall cover your face that you see not the ground. For I have set you for a sign unto the house of Israel. So, knowing that his people are always seeking after a sign, he has given this particular man's life, this particular event of his life as a sign. So what happens if this man decides that one of those things he just does not like because it doesn't fit him very well, and he decides not to do it? Now it affects all of Israel, now don't it? See, now you understand that being a servant ain't all about you. We have to learn to take ourselves out of the equation. Yahweh has jobs and things that's supposed to get done. You don't do this part. Now he has to have a charge against Israel. Can he fully make that charge against Israel if Israel didn't receive that sign? See, you have to understand that one thing that Yahweh led you to do, that one thing it may contain other people's judgment. And you can't do other people's judgment. He has to exact righteous judgment. Now, if he's using you to bring that forth, now you have screwed up all that judgment. You're going to suffer loss from that. Verse 7. And I did so as I was commanded. And I brought forth my stuff by day as stuff for captivity. And in the even I digged through the wall with mine hand. I brought it forth in the twilight, and I bare it upon my shoulder in their sight. And in the morning came the word of Yahweh unto me, saying, Son of man, have not the house of Israel, the rebellious house, said unto you, what doeth you? So the children of Israel had to see this and ask. This is what he wanted them to do. Say unto them, thus says the Adonai Elohim, this burden concerning the prince in Jerusalem and all the house of Israel that are among them, say, I am your sign. Like as I have done, so shall it be done unto them. They shall remove and go into captivity. And the prince that is among them shall bear upon his shoulder in the twilight, and shall go forth. They shall dig through the wall to carry out thereby. He shall cover his face, that he see not the ground with his eyes. So every part that he had to live through was for a purpose. 13. My net also will I spread upon him, and he shall be taken in my snare, and I will bring him to Babylon, to the land of the Chaldeans. Yet shall he not see it, though he shall die there. And I will scatter toward every wind all that are about him to help him, and all his bands, and I will draw out the sword after them. And they shall know that I am Yahweh when I shall scatter them among the nations and disperse them in the countries. But I will leave a few of them from the sword, from the famine, and from the pestilence, that they may declare all the abominations among the heathen, whether they may come, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. I will leave a few. We're talking about a remnant. Yahweh always deals with a remnant. When it says, what was it talking about? When basically this part right here was receiving a charge. When you are given a charge, you have to perform that charge according to the instructions that were given to you. When you deal with everything that we have here in this congregation, it was set behind two charges. Lael had a charge to write. I had a charge to deal with all the electronic media. Those things were attacked in the former place where we were. Yahweh don't care nothing about that. You had a charge to do your job. You do your job. You do what you got to do. And it was careful consideration, waited 2 years, brother, to see if all of those things were going to be set forth. But you can't go to Yahweh with a bunch of excuses as to why you didn't do your job. Well, what had happened was, and then this happened, and then they didn't like me, Yahweh, and then they said these things about me. That's cute. That's cute. But I gave you 5 talents, and I'm expecting 10. So you got a couple more days. You better see if you can come up with something. You better figure out something. And it's like that. It's like that steward that knew he was in trouble. He rewrote them bills and changed up, and he got himself out of mess. So if you know you slipped, figure out, boom, 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 let me get some stuff back together and get back in the good graces with my Elohim, because I received a charge to do some things, and that thing has to be found profitable unto Yahweh. Verse 17. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, eat your bread with quaking, and drink your water with trembling and with carefulness. And say unto the people of the land, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of the inhabitants of Jerusalem and of the land of Israel. They shall eat their bread with carefulness and drink their water with astonishment, that her land may be desolate from all that is therein, because of the violence of all them that dwell therein. And the cities that are inhabited shall be laid waste, and the land shall be desolate. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb that you shall have in the land of Israel, saying, the days are prolonged, and every vision fails? So once again, it establishes that a prophet prophesies something that comes of that's going to be in the future tense. So when the prophet came and said these things, they said, oh, that's for a long time off. We ain't gonna worry about that. Tell them, therefore, thus says Yahweh Elohim, I will make this proverb to cease, and they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say unto them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. Remember, a prophet gets his things through a dream or a vision. For there shall be no more any vain vision, nor flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am Yahweh. I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass. It shall be no more prolonged. For in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word, and will perform it, says Yahweh Elohim. Again, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say, the vision that he sees is for many days to come. And he prophesies of the times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, thus says Yahweh Elohim, there shall none of my words be prolonged anymore, but the word which I have spoken shall be done, says Yahweh Elohim. Because they kept putting things off, Yahweh, and you know our people do the same thing to this day. If you start talking about anything about the end of days or end of times, everybody will say, well, we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time. We really don't have to worry about that right now. So everybody wants to delay, and it's just like it said, during the times of Noah, the people were marrying, giving their sons into marriage. They were having parties. They were having a good old time. They were having some knee-slapping fun until the day it started to rain. And it shall be the same on these people. But it didn't sneak up on Noah and his family. He knew it. And it shall not sneak up on us. We don't know the day or the hour, but we know that something is coming. That's because we read in this book. We know the things that are coming because we read the prophecies of what has been prophesied. I'm not prophesying this. I'm reading what Ezekiel prophesied and what Isaiah prophesied and all of those things. So we read those prophecies and we know to look forward to those things because we know that Yahweh is a faithful God. He says that no word that has come out of his mouth is going to return unto him void. So if he said it, it's got to happen. That's what Lucifer's whole job is, to see if he can make Yahweh a lie. If he can make Yahweh a lie, he can make the whole thing fall. And that's what he is all about. Deuteronomy 18 and starting at verse 15. Yahweh your Elohim will raise up unto you a prophet from the midst of you, of your brethren, like unto me. Unto him you shall hearken. Who is this talking about? Talking about Yahshua. So the testimony of Yahshua was prophecy because it was prophesied in the beginning. It was prophesied by the first Messiah that there was going to be another Messiah. And look how he said it. Like unto me. Remember, he said that he made Moshe like a what? God unto Aaron. So he wasn't just a prophet. He spoke face to face with Elohim. Didn't Yahshua do the same thing? Then Yahshua talk. He was able to do all kind of things. He said, you know, the things that I do are not of me. I came to do my Father's will. He's doing all of these things. And then he knows, he's even in his prayers, he's setting forth that, does this have to happen? Do I have to do this? In this whole thing. So he was more than a prophet. He was a God unto his disciples. The same way Moshe was like a God unto Aaron. So he was more than a prophet. A prophet receives his things in dreams and visions. Yahshua didn't receive nothing in no dream or no vision. Not one thing. Automatically. Boom. Automatically. Boom. Wasn't no dream. Yahshua didn't dream nothing. He didn't have no vision. He wasn't nowhere. Oh man, the Spirit just showed me something. No. It was the Spirit. What you talking about? So those things, man, we have to get off into these things and really see what's really going on here. Verse 16. According to all that you desires of Yahweh, your Elohim in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh, my Elohim. Neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. So, why would Yahweh make us a whole kingdom of prophets when Yahweh, when our people have a tendency to not want to listen to Yahweh? Not only that, they said, let us talk to Yahweh. We want to talk to Yahweh just like you, Moshe. And he started talking and they took off running. They didn't want no more parts of it. So what did they say? Don't talk to us. Talk to what's your name over there? Talk to what's your name and let what's your name talk to us. We don't want to talk to you no more. So why would Yahweh have a whole kingdom full of prophets? We don't want to hear him. We are afraid to hear him. And can you imagine if there was 30 million prophets? All of them got a word from Yahweh. 30 million. Well, Yahweh told me this day would be more confusion than you can ever shake a stick at. We're confused now. Can you imagine if there was 30 million prophets and everyone just got a prophetic word from Yahweh? But what does Jake want to do? He want to be just like them televangelists on TV, because that's what they do. Spoke to the Lord last night. And he told me. So you had a personal conversation. He didn't happen to tell you his name, though. He didn't tell you his name. He just came in and just said, hey, yo, by the way, plant early for good corn. What's your name? Did he tell you the same thing? Because Moshe spoke face to face. He told Moshe his name. So how is it all these people have all these things, but they don't have his name? That's a problem with that. And it's all vanity and vexation of spirit. Because you find the same people, they'll get themselves Hebrew